5 signs. You're at the final stage, before the breakthrough, and why it hurts so much. There is a strange silence that shows up right before a major breakthrough. It doesn't feel like peace. It feels like pressure. It doesn't feel like rest. It feels like suffocation. It feels like everything you prayed for is slipping through your fingers, like heaven has gone quiet, like the fire inside you is flickering and you're seconds away from burning out. You start questioning yourself. You start questioning your path. You even start questioning God. You wonder, if I'm so close, why does it feel like I'm losing? But here's the truth. Most people never understand. Your greatest pain often comes right before your greatest rise. Just like labor intensifies moments before birth, life can feel the most chaotic, confusing, and crushing right before something new is born. The pressure increases because delivery is near. The shaking intensifies because elevation is close. This is not the time to quit. This is not the time to retreat. This is the time to recognize the signs. Because when you know you're close, truly close, you stop seeing your suffering as punishment and start seeing it as preparation. You stop interpreting silence as abandonment and start recognizing it as positioning. Here are 5 deep spiritual signs you're at the final stage before your breakthrough, and why each one hurts more than you expected. Sign 1. What once comforted you feels empty. The first sign is subtle, but it's powerful. The things that used to comfort you no longer satisfy you. Music doesn't hit the same. Scrolling feels pointless. Entertainment feels draining. Conversations that once excited you now feel surface level. Even your favorite routines feel dry. At first, you think something is wrong with you. You ask yourself, why can't I enjoy anything anymore? But this is not emptiness, it's detachment. Right before a breakthrough, there is often a divine stripping. The familiar comforts begin to lose their flavor because they cannot carry you into the next dimension of your life. Comfort can quietly become a cage. It keeps you safe, but it also keeps you small. If what once fed you now feels empty, it's because your appetite has changed. You are being stretched beyond temporary distractions. You are being pulled away from substitutes and prepared for substance. Growth requires space, and space is created by removing what once filled it. So don't panic when old pleasures feel hollow. You are not depressed. You are transitioning. You are being emptied so something greater can fill you. You're not losing joy. You're outgrowing what once defined it. Sign 2. You feel deeply alone, even when surrounded. This one cuts deep. You can be in a room full of people and still feel completely alone. You smile, you talk, you engage, but internally you feel like no one truly understands you. There's a shift happening inside you that you can't explain. Your thoughts are changing, your desires are shifting, your tolerance is shrinking, and the people around you may not be shifting with you. It feels isolating, but isolation is not always abandonment. Sometimes it's elevation. Before transformation becomes visible, it happens internally, and internal shifts often create separation. Not because you're superior, not because others are wrong, but because your spirit is transitioning into a new phase. Sacred transitions require privacy. Before a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, it enters a cocoon, alone. Before leaders step into destiny, they often go through hidden seasons. Before promotion, there is preparation in silence. If you feel alone right now, resist the urge to fill the void with noise. Don't rush to attach yourself to people who cannot understand where you're going. Let the solitude teach you. Let it refine your discernment. Let it strengthen your inner voice. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are shedding, and shedding requires space. Sign 3. You're being forced to confront yourself. Right before your life changes externally, it changes internally. And that internal change is rarely comfortable. Old wounds surface. Past failures replay in your mind. Hidden fears rise. Emotional triggers intensify. You may feel overwhelmed by thoughts and memories you thought you buried. It feels like regression. It's actually revelation. Breakthrough is not just about changed circumstances. It's about transformed character, and you cannot step into a new level carrying unhealed trauma from the last one. So, life forces you to confront yourself. The patterns you've normalized, the habits you've justified, the fears that secretly control your decisions, the ways you sabotage your own blessings. This stage feels messy, vulnerable, raw. You may feel exposed. You may even feel ashamed. But this is not condemnation. It's cleansing. You cannot rise into a new dimension of life while dragging the weight of old wounds. So, before the breakthrough, there is refinement. Nothing is more powerful than someone who has faced their inner battles and come out wiser. If your soul feels under a microscope right now, you're not going backward. You are being prepared. Refinement hurts because it removes what no longer belongs. Sign 4. Everything starts falling apart. This is the most frightening sign, and the most misunderstood. The job falls through. The relationship ends. The opportunities dry up. The support you relied on weakens. Doors close without explanation. Everything feels like it's collapsing faster than you can fix it. You try to hold it together, you try to repair what's breaking, but the harder you try, the more unstable it feels. Here's the truth. Breakthrough cannot build on unstable foundations. Anything misaligned with your next level has to be shaken loose before you get there. Anything that cannot survive your growth must be removed. This is not chaos, it is demolition. And demolition feels violent before reconstruction begins. You may not understand why certain people are exiting. You may not see why doors are closing. But if they are being removed, it is because they cannot carry your future. Sometimes what feels like loss is protection. Sometimes what feels like rejection is redirection. You are not being destroyed. You are being repositioned. If you truly knew what was ahead, you would understand why everything unstable must collapse now. Sign 5. You feel a deep urge to let go. Right before breakthrough, something shifts quietly inside you. No drama, no announcement, just a quiet detachment. You're not angry. You're not bitter. You're just done. Things that once felt urgent now feel unnecessary. People you once depended on no longer feel essential. Goals that once consumed you now feel strangely calm. Externally, nothing may look different, but internally, you feel like you've already left. This is spiritual clarity. Letting go feels terrifying because it lacks evidence. You don't yet see what's next. You don't have proof that releasing is safe. But breakthrough often requires surrender before clarity. You are being asked to release control, to loosen your grip, to stop trying to save what no longer aligns. Letting go is not weakness. Letting go is obedience. Real elevation requires release. When you finally stop forcing what doesn't fit, grace begins to flow. Not because you tried harder, but because you surrendered deeper. The space between endings and beginnings is uncomfortable. It feels uncertain. It feels empty. But that empty space is sacred. That is where rebirth happens. Why it hurts so much? Because growth requires death. Not physical death, but identity death, comfort death, ego death. The version of you that survived past seasons cannot lead you into the next one. So it must be shed. And shedding feels like loss. You're not falling apart. You're being aligned. The weight of proving, the weight of pretending, the weight of performing. That was never your destiny. It was your survival strategy. Now, survival mode is ending, and freedom feels unfamiliar before it feels empowering. Your breakthrough is not just about receiving something new. It's about becoming someone new. And becoming always hurts before it heals. So, if everything feels quiet but heavy, if comfort feels empty, if you feel alone, if your inner world feels exposed, if your outer world feels unstable, if you feel the urge to release what once felt essential, you are not late, you are not lost, You are not being punished. You are in the final stage. The pressure is not proof of failure. It is proof of proximity. You are closer than you've ever been. And the reason it hurts so much is because something new